Hey kindergarten, so ordinarily we would have done poetry for the entire month of April, but because we were switching to remote learning, I decided that it might be easier to do a few author studies first. Typically, I do my author studies in May, so we're kind of flip-flopping the months. However, I wanted to start poetry with you anyway, even though we're not in school. I feel like it's important to introduce you to some poetry. Let's get started. What is poetry? Does anybody have any ideas? Great. So, I knew that you would say poetry rhymes. Does poetry always have to rhyme? Absolutely not. Some poems don't rhyme at all. So then what makes them poems? Absolutely, they have rhythm. Now, when poems have rhythm, they kind of have a sing-songy sort of, let's get Senor Sassers out of here. When poems have rhythm, they have a sing-songy melody to them. Poems have feeling. So sometimes you might read a poem and it makes you feel really happy. And then other times you might read a poem and it might make you feel sad. Authors who write poetry, they want you to feel something when you hear their poems. And sometimes poems are just plain silly and make us laugh. And poems are like a song. Okay, so that's a little bit of an introduction to poetry. I have made a poetry choice board for you, very similar to our picture book choice board. I made a couple of changes just to kind of make it make more sense when it comes to poetry. So, like we did before, I will be reading you a poem, and then you can go to your choice board and decide which activity you'd like to do. You guys did such an awesome job with the food, and I was inspired myself to be creative with some of the things I was making in the kitchen that I left Be a Chef on the choice board. You can be inspired by some of these poems to create fun snacks and desserts and lunches, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. I also left Act It Out because although some poems don't tell a story, some poems do. There really aren't a lot of rules when it comes to poetry. So I thought maybe you could act some of them out. There are a couple questions, so that would be just answering the questions on Flipgrid, and then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. I kept art on there so you can draw pictures, paint, I forget some of the other ones. However, I kept them pretty similar to the last choice grid. I hope that you enjoy it. I got a lot of positive feedback from you guys about how you were doing, and I absolutely loved watching your Flipgrid videos. Boys and girls, I am so proud of you. You are doing such an awesome job with this remote learning, and I can't thank you enough for tuning in and participating with me and just being wonderful, wonderful kindergartners. I miss you guys so much, and I can't wait until we're all together again. And until then, I'll see you on Flipgrid. Bye!